What's up, guys? It's 603 football here with Aiden Gauze, captain, senior linebacker for Wyndham. Aiden, want to open up and tell us how Wyndham season is going so far?
We're sitting at 2-2 right now, and we had a tough 1 point loss to Pinkerton in week one. Bounced back, had a 41-6 lead on South at halftime, 44-13 ending, and then we had a 14-10 lead on Londonderry at halftime. And they came out in the second half and finished us off, and it was 30-14. That was kind of a heartbreaker. And then last week we had a tough win over a good Salem team, 20-14 in our blackout cancer game.
With three of probably your toughest games of the year between Pinkerton, Londonderry, and Salem out of the way, not to say the rest of the season is going to be a breeze because you have a tough Concord team to end off your year with a week 9 bye. Getting those tough games out of the way early, do you think that's better or worse for your team?
Um, Honestly, I think it's probably better. It might be worse for the record because we couldn't really get into our groove necessarily, especially for the Pinkerton game. But and we'll continue to grow as the season goes on. But it was definitely good to get those tests early and really see where we were as a team. And I think everyone now we're well respected in the state, I'd say, and we feel pretty good moving into the rest of the second half of the season and hopefully the playoffs. So I think it's a good thing.
Want to just go back to the Pinkerton game real quick. You guys lost, was it 28-27?
Yeah,
Um, with 8 minutes left, you guys go for two. Nothing wrong with that. Week one, I think a lot of coaches would have done that. You guys obviously don't convert to take the 29-28 lead. But you guys ended up getting the ball back, correct?
yeah,
Want to just reflect on that and then explain like what happened?
yeah. So our they we didn't get the 2 point conversion, which was unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then the defense came out, and I believe we got a 3-and-out, and the offense got the ball back with like 6 minutes remaining, pretty deep in our own territory. But they were managed to drive down the field to about the 30-yard line with like 3 minutes remaining. And then being a triple option team, sometimes the ball gets a little bit out of body. And unfortunately, a Pinkerton defender just made a good play, punched the ball out right when Sweeney was tucking it, and that kind of ended things. Is we just didn't have enough time on the clock or timeouts to get the ball back again.
Um, just to reflect on your season so far, what are your stats looking like right now?
I have around like 40 total tackles, 12 for loss, and 3 sacks.
No forced fumbles or anything?
Nah, no, none yet. Hopefully, eventually. I also have like a tip pass I got against Salem Friday.
So to go back on that blackout game, because if we're being honest here, you guys probably have the biggest blackout game in the state, even though a bunch of other teams do it now. But I'd say you guys probably started that a few years back. How was that experience to play at home at night? It's your only night game of the year at home with the the portable lights coming in. How was that experience?
Uh, I mean, personally for me, I haven't experienced anything else like it. Playing in front of 6,000 people, over 6,000 people, is just like a crazy feeling. The butterflies you get when you're running down to the field, and then just being able to like look around and see all those people watching you. It's definitely a crazy feeling, and it was pretty insane to get the win the way we did in front of all those people.
And it's for a great cause, which is even better. Um,
Definitely.
Another thought on that, just one more quick thought. It was a tough, hard fought game. It was tied 14-14, and you guys went down. Nice pass by Sweeney, correct?
Yeah.
To Damaris
Yeah.
for the win, right?
Yeah.
And then and Salem got the ball back with how much time?
It was like 45 seconds to a minute, I think.
And you want to just reflect on that last drive they had with the ball?
Yeah. So I mean, they had been their offense had been rolling in the second half, especially after being shut out in the first half. So they still had confidence, even though we just got that nice touchdown. So they came out. I believe they got 2 first downs immediately on some nice pass plays, and it was kind of obvious that they were just running twins and gonna keep on airing the ball out. And so my coach put Coach Byrne put me at a three technique on the right side of the line and told me to rush the passer instead of just staying at Mike and spying. And that's what I did, and I was able to get a sack with about 30 seconds left and pushed them to like I believe second and like 18, and that kind of killed their momentum. And then Joe Lisa had a great hit the next play, making it third and 16, I want to say, and it just we took all the wind out of their sails, and it was really a great stand.
Now we'll just look back on the other two games on the year real quick. Nashua South at Nashua at Stella Stadium, probably one of the best fields to play at in the state. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
You guys pulled out a big win over them, kind of a lopsided affair, 44-14. Um, Obviously you guys had lost week one, so you wanted to go out and prove something week two, and it looks like you guys did do that. Week three at Londonderry. Playing at Londonderry is probably one of the hardest places to play. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, that atmosphere is crazy.
Now you guys were leading at halftime. Was it 14-13, 14-10?
Yeah, 14-10.
So what happened in the second half that they just came out and put up 20 unanswered points?
Uh Honestly, I don't it's kind of tough to pinpoint it on one thing, but they just started executing better on offense. Coach Lazone probably made some great adjustments at half uh, to start getting the ball moving because the defense had really been locking up to that point. And then defensively, they adjusted to our triple option and really gave us a look we hadn't seen before. And I mean, it was great to get it out of the way early in the season because we were able to build off of it already and add a couple new plays, new packages, and improve. But it was definitely tough in the moment, just getting kind of shut down in the second half.
Now, just to look ahead on you guys this season real quick, then I just have one more point to touch on, then we'll be all set. But with Alvern this week, not to give away too much of you guys' game plan, how are you guys approaching this week?
I believe it's kind of another statement game, to be honest. We're sitting at 2-2. I believe we've earned most of the state's respect at this point, and showed that we're not the same Wyndham team of the past. But I believe going into this portion of the season in general, we can really start showing the team that we can be at our full potential. We've been missing execution points in every game thus far and haven't been perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So I think if we can finally start to put things together, we can put together some impressive wins and really start to go on a run moving towards the playoffs.
Then you have Manchester Memorial at home, and then you go to Manchester Central, and then end your week, end your season week 8 at Concord. No week 9 game. How does that make you and your teammates feel going forward in the season? With 13 teams making the playoffs now, you guys are most likely going to get in with the big win over Salem, 20-14. Um, how does it make you guys feel? Do you guys have a bye week 9? Because most likely you guys will not have a bye going into the playoffs.
Yeah, so we've kind of been eliminated from bye contention as Londonderry probably has like the one seed locked up in Central Division. But I think it's nice to have that week 9 bye, and it kind of worked out really well that week 9 was our bye week scheduled for us, and then Coach Byrne didn't pick up a game because we can really like treat it as a real bye week, assuming we do make playoffs, and especially coming off a tough week, which Concord will be. Uh, it'll be good to rest our guys, have 2 weeks to prepare for our first round opponents, and really get everything together before we hopefully go on a nice playoff run.
One last thing to touch on, and then we're all set here. Tiger Ann or on. Um, how is he in practice? Like, is he an animal in practice?
Yeah, he's in practice. He really, I mean, he's a big boy. He takes a lot of hits during the game. He dishes out a lot of the hits. Uh, to be honest. And during practice, it's kind of like a recoup period because if he played like he does in games all week, I don't think he'd be able to play in games much longer. So during practice, he kind of like he's a chill dude. He's relaxed and he just really focuses on like footwork, speed, and getting all the points down in our new plays that we keep on adding and learning in the offense and improving technique mistakes.
Um, I think that'll be it. I really appreciate talking to you, and good luck the rest of your way.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, guys. So our next guest is Toby Brown of Nashua North. Toby, you want to tell us a little bit about how your season's going so far?
Hey, how's it going? So far we're 4-0. Hot start to the season, but honestly, haven't really had any serious challenges yet. Probably our hardest game was probably against Bedford, but yeah, I think we're playing pretty solid so far. Right now, our main thing is cleaning up the little mistakes. Even though we've been playing good, there's always the little things like when we go against a team like DG, which we'll be facing week 8. The little things, everything's gonna count. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. We're just trying to clean up the little stuff.
So you guys really don't have a true test to the season till week 8 against BG and then Dover to follow week 9. Who was you guys' fill-in game?
Uh, Obviously we'd love to see Londonderry, but obviously we won't see them in the regular season. But we're hoping to catch them in playoffs. We came out really flat last year, and honestly, that was probably our worst game. We lost 30-0, so obviously we got something to prove when we face them. BG too. Really close game of them last year. It came down to a play or two, lost by a touchdown. So week 8, and then hopefully in playoffs we can get our revenge on both of them.
Now, just to reflect on the season so far, we'll go back to last week, Nashua South, the Battle of the Bridge, one of the most hyped up games of the year in the state. Probably that one and the Mac Plaque are probably the two biggest games of the year. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sir.
So how is that experience to go out there and play in front of pretty much the whole town in Nashua?
There's nothing like it, man. Honestly, because everyone knows everyone around there. So it's the same kids that you've been playing since rivalries like Pal versus the Nashua Elks. It's the same kids. So you get 4 years to battle each other, and this one was especially different, knowing that this is going to be our last time hitting anyone on the other side of the ball probably ever. So it's definitely a different feeling.
Not to take a stab at any of the four teams you guys have played so far, but who has been your toughest opponent thus far throughout the season?
I'd definitely say Bedford. Bedford had a couple of solid guys there, especially with me. Their tight end was pretty tough. He's a big kid. They're a pretty good team overall. They've definitely turned around from week 1. They're 3-1 now. I'm excited. Maybe we'll see them in playoffs again too. They're a pretty solid team.
Um, if you had to reflect on the Keene game, they obviously scored 13 on you guys. How was their offense from a standpoint of looking at them from your defensive side of the ball?
Uh, Obviously wing tees a lot. It's really annoying to play against just because it runs a lot of the clock. Like I'm pretty sure each of us had like 5 possessions throughout the whole game. So with them, they're more methodically with how they move the ball because it's obviously a low scoring game. They take it 3-4 yards at a time. So every point counts when you have the ball because if you don't score, that could be your last time touching the ball, honestly, throughout a couple quarters.
New coach in Nashville North this year. How has it been playing for a new coach your senior year? Is it different? Things changed, obviously. How has that been?
Honestly, I really like it. Same offense, same defense, just honestly a different vibe. New coach, he's young, he's excited for his first season, so that energy is definitely rubbed off on the players. Uh, Definitely a lot more discipline this year. Kids that used to goof around and slack off at practice now are kind of filling in at a leadership role. Like we have people that aren't even captains stepping up, helping pitch in. So it's definitely a whole new culture around there. So I think it's definitely helping us out.
Just to touch on senior running back number 21, Jordan. A lot of people don't realize who he is, but I figured it out quickly after week one that he is a special running back, and just the weapons you guys have on your team between you, the quarterback Derek Finley, and him. You guys have a special group over there, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's one of the other guys that have been playing varsity, like on getting minutes since sophomore year. Uh, this is definitely a big year for him. Years past, he's had the talent, he's had the grit, but he just hasn't taken it as seriously. But after talking with him in the off season and junior year, he started working his ass off in the classroom and in the weight room, and he's definitely something special on the field.
Just to touch on college next year because you're a senior now. Where are you looking? Obviously, you want to play football in college. Where are you looking to play?
Uh, I really like UConn, UMass, UNH, and Dartmouth are probably my top four right now. No offers yet, but I'm in the talking phase right now with all four schools and a couple of others. But yeah, those are probably my top four right now that I like the most that I've been to.
Yeah, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but playoffs, the new 13 team bracket setup is new this year. You guys, it will come down to you and Bishop Girton most likely in week 8, on who will have that number 1 seed in the West. Just to look onto that game, are you excited for that one?
Yeah, man. Honestly, BG's kind of like another version of the North versus South game. Everyone comes out to it, obviously. So it's gonna be an exciting game. I think it's gonna be close. I'm excited to see how Santa Suaso plays. He's another special talent from Nashua. Quick guy, smart with the ball. So we'll see how we can react to his play. They've really solid up front on their O line too. I know all those guys. I've been playing with them since I was little. Uh, yeah, man, it's going to be a special season. I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, so we are almost halfway through. It'll be halfway through on Wednesday, the regular season, because 9 weeks, 4.5. Wednesday will be halfway through the season, and just to look on to how you guys plan to approach the rest of the year, it flies by. It's gonna fly by. The first 4 weeks already flew by, and we got 5 more games left, and they're gonna fly, and then we're gonna be in November already, and the season's gonna be over. Are you looking forward to playoffs, or do you want to take it 1 week at a time?
Uh, I'm really trying to take it 1 week at a time because I'm obviously excited for playoffs, be able to see some new teams I haven't got to play yet. And obviously, it's my senior year. I'm excited to see how well we do in playoffs. But like you said before, we got to take it 1 week at a time. We still have the little things to clean up before we have to face bigger, better teams. So I think it's a time thing. We just got to prepare.
How is it always have had that one star power player on offense? Not just one, but the whole offense as a whole. You had Curtis Harris when you were a freshman and sophomore,
Yeah.
and then now Derek as a junior and senior. How has that been to have someone to rely on the offensive side to go down and get you 6 points?
It's been awesome, man. Honestly, because up front, obviously, we can do as much as we want. We can block the guys, but if you don't have the right personnel in the backfield that can see the holes, read the defense, and make those big time plays, it's obviously useless. But it's been a blessing to have someone in the quarterback position as smart as both those guys.
How hard is it to balance schoolwork and football at the same time during the year?
Uh, I've me personally, I haven't had too big of a problem. All the teachers at our school, we're a really big athletic school, so all the teachers are tied in with athletics, so they're willing to help out like after school and stuff with all the athletes and everyone else. So they help us keep on track of that. Our coaches are always on us too. Weekly, we have progress reports actually that we got to get signed by all of our teachers from that's new this year with our coach, and that determines if we can even play on Friday. So I know everyone's been on their A game in school. Also, one of our offensive coordinators are a counselor, so he helps us out with picking the right classes, helping balance out our schedule so we're not overwhelmed. So honestly, I don't see it being too hard to balance your work and your athletics, but obviously if you just slack around, it's pretty easy to fall behind quick.
Yeah, it is. How do you feel on the new schedule setup where you can play an out of state game or an open game or take the bye? Who was you guys' fill-in game this year?
Honestly, I don't think we have a fill-in game. I was kind of sad when I saw that, but like when Londonderry traveled down to Rhode Island, I think it's pretty cool. It gives kids a new experience, see where they line up to compare to other states, because everyone likes to look at New Hampshire football as like subpar, and then right down the road there's Mass and Rhode Island, and there's a lot of big names that have come out of that area and big recruits. So I think it's going to be good for New Hampshire football to see, so that kids can actually see that, hey, we actually can compete at a bigger level than we think, and we're not just a small little state in the corner.
I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe we have a winning record out of state this year so far. I believe
Yeah,
as a whole.
yeah,
But
that's exactly what I'm going at. Freaking like me personally, I've been down to Georgia and Atlanta and Florida a couple times for some camps and stuff, and everyone hypes these kids up, but honestly, it's just exposure and the mindset these kids have, because they've been give taught the right ideas and the right habits, and have seen other kids in their area go places, so they think, hey, I can do it too, and that's not as well known in New Hampshire. So the kids just don't take it as seriously as they should, but hopefully with this new thing they're going to see, hey, we can compete too.
how big would it be to have a bye week one of playoffs as a
Dude,
team?
it'd be huge, because after last year going 4-5, that really hit everyone hard. So I think it'd be a big morale boost. Plus, it'll give us an extra week to prepare and like catch our legs again. Uh, Especially with a new coach going in and getting a bye first season as a head coach, that's going to be crazy for not just the players but the staff too. So I think it'd be big.
I agree with that 100% because having a bye week, first round of the playoffs, everyone can rest, catch up on schoolwork, all that, and everything, and it'd just be a huge help to hopefully advance to the end goal, right?
Yes, sir.
It was great talking to you. I look forward to probably talking in the future again as we approach the BG game in week 8. I'll definitely be in attendance at that one. And thank you.
All right, man. It was cool. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. So my next guest here is Michael Macchione of Guilford Belmont. He is a junior star lineman on both sides of the ball. Michael, want to just tell us a little bit about how your team and your season's going so far?
Yes, so we are a very electric team this year. Definitely different from the teams and the players that we've had in the past, but we're looking good on the season. We're 4-0 right now. We got a lot of great team energy going on. The team's never been closer, and we're excited for the rest of the season, how it's going to go.
So obviously D1 and D2, I wouldn't say there's a big difference in competition wise, but schedule wise, there is a big difference from they have a bye week, so to say, or they can fill it in with another game. You guys don't have the opportunity to do that. You guys opened the season with a big win over Kennett, Sanborn, Bow, and Pembroke. Looking ahead, you have Laconia, at Plymouth in week 6, home against Merrimack Valley, who is a pretty well team. Then week 8, you have a very tough undefeated Hanover team as you will travel. Oh no, you are home against Hanover, and then week 9 you wrap up the year with St. Thomas. I am not 100% sure on how many teams make the playoffs in D2, but you guys are most likely going to get in unless you guys lose out, which will not happen. Um, Laconia started off the year with a big win, and then they fell off after that. So looking back on your first 4 weeks of the year, how's it been so far?
It's been pretty good. We've had like our ups and downs in games, but we've never really had a close game. But we're always trying to like stay out of injuries. We're trying to get our players to really build up the younger guys as they go in. But we're really trying to like kind of come together as like a team when we're playing on the field, even when we're winning. Like we're always trying to get better, even though we have a 4-0 season, but we don't want it to get to our heads. We want to just keep playing our game.
So looking back on the first 4 weeks of the year, what would you say was the best game to play and like most enjoyable?
The best game to play was probably Kennett because that was like a kind of a week 1 matchup. I'm like, oh, this will decide on like who's better, Kennett or Guilford, because we haven't beat them before in my time playing at Guilford, and we ended up coming out with the win, and it wasn't by a ton, but it did really come down to the wire in the third quarter, and that was a fun game. That was under the lights there. We had great support from our fans coming all the way an hour and a half from Guilford and Belmont to come support, and
Up
yeah,
in
that was
North
probably
Conway. They
up in North
travel all the
Conway.
way to North Conway, week one.
Yep, yep, just for week 1, just to see how the team would be this year, and it turned out great. We got the win, and yeah, that was probably one of our best games so far this year.
How hard was it to block Evan Kierkowski?
He's a big dude. He is an animal for 6 foot, 6'1", 225. He's definitely hard to take down. I didn't block him too much on offense, but defensive side of the ball, he was definitely one of those guys you got to tackle low, or you're not taking him down. He'll ride you 10 yards down the field.
Now, looking ahead of your schedule, um, or looking back on your schedule, sorry, you guys shut out Sanborn 36-0. You beat Bo 52-33, and then you beat Pembroke last week 60-20. Kind of a lopsided game there. The Bo game, that was a close 1.5, correct?
Yes, that was a I can't remember, maybe a 12-point lead at half we had. So nothing too close, but nothing too far. You know what I mean?
Yep. Looking ahead of your schedule, Laconia this week, Plymouth next week at Plymouth, and going into Plymouth is probably one of the toughest places to play in Division 2, if I had to say. And then home against Hanover in Merrimack Valley. Now Hanover is your other side of the division matchup this year, and you guys kind of got the unluck of the draw, so to say, by playing probably a top 3 team on that side of the bracket. Either them, Pelham, or Souhegan will be the number 1 seed on that side.
Mhm.
Um, Looking ahead to that game, have you watched any film on them or anything yet?
We have not watched anything on Hanover. Just as our coach Josh Marzal says, just take it one day at a time, one game at a time. So we're not looking too far ahead, but we're definitely focused on some of the good teams we'll play.
Just looking ahead one more time, and then we'll go back to the previous games. What game are you looking forward to the most out of your remaining 5?
The Laconia game, that one's going to be awesome because that one's under the lights on a Friday night at their field, and everyone's in like at least a 15-minute vicinity of the field. So I think that one's gonna be electric.
Nice
The
turf stadium up there.
Yes, very nice turf stadium. The Plymouth one, that one's gonna be a huge game for Plymouth. I was talking to the running back and linebacker Gianni Ciotti over there, and he said that's going to be probably their biggest game, and they're going to be the most people at that game. So that game's going to be a really good one for us. That one and the Laconia one.
And then looking ahead to St. Thomas, they pulled out a big win over Kennett this week, 13-7. That was an incredible game. Just I watched St. Thomas play against Pelham in week 2, and Pelham just dominated them on both sides of the ball. But since that game, they have dominated everyone. They beat Merrimack Valley in overtime, 12-9, beat Sanborn 21-15, and beat Kennett 13-7 this past week. Do you think that'll be a tough game to end the year off and get yourselves ready for playoffs?
That'll be just like last year. I think it'll be a close game, just like it was last year. We're hoping for to come out with a win. But that's at St. Thomas, I believe, and
Yep.
that's a tough place to play. Last year there was a ton of fans, a ton of students from there. Hard to stay focused, with all the yelling. But we're gonna try to pull out with the W. But St. Thomas will definitely be another competitor this year, just like last year.
So let's go back and talk about that bow game this year. Um, your quarterback had 8 total touchdowns that game, correct?
Yes.
Tell me how it is to play with such a great star on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he definitely is a leader. He's a hell of a ball player. He definitely uh gives his offensive line credit, as we do. But yeah, he's definitely a good athlete. He's awesome to play with. He's a leader. He's someone who doesn't say a lot, but he does a lot with his actions, and he gives his offensive line credit, his coaches credit, and he has some pretty good receivers in there too.
Now looking at Pembroke, you guys put up 60 points. How was that game to go out there and just get a dub and beat down on a team?
That was a really good game because that was home under the lights. We rented out lights because as many people know, we don't have lights up here in Guilford. So we rented out those lights. We had a really good show up from our fans and our students, and we did what we did, and we just power ran the ball through the ball, and we held them to a donut on defense. So that was an awesome win. It's always nice to have a home game under the lights and have a ton of people show up, and you just absolutely just beat a team senseless.
Now on the road the next 2 weeks, playing on the road can be sometimes tough, especially on a Friday night after a long day in school, having to go and play at Laconia on Friday night, even though that is close for you guys. But Plymouth is going to be a little bit of a ride. How do you guys plan on approaching that with a long bus ride ahead of you?
The Plymouth game will be nice because we actually don't have school that day because of parent teacher conferences. So that'll be we'll probably if it's it's an under the lights game, I believe. So it's like a seven
Yep.
o'clock game. So I imagine we would leave around 4 o'clock, 4:30
4,
ish to get
4:30,
up
yep.
there. Yeah, so we'll have probably time to sleep, probably get some good food in us, but it's probably nice for that day to go up there. We don't have school. We don't got to worry about, you know, pay attention all day in the classroom, tire our brains out, and then have to go play a football game.
Um, Now you've played for 3 years now. Is this the closest you would say your team has been over the past 3 years?
Yes, we had my freshman and sophomore year. My freshman year, it was a little rocky. We didn't have the nicest senior group to the upperclassmen, if you know what I mean. But
Yep.
sophomore year, we really came together. We had some really good leaders. We really only had 4 seniors. Two of them really made an impact in the field: Austin Ormandon and Riley Marsh, and they were just awesome to us. They were just really good kids, and it was sad to lose them. But this year we have our seniors and our juniors stepping in, and it's just we're just tight. We're just super tight. We do stuff together. We go to school together. We live together. Some of us are best friends. So it's an awesome group this year. I really do like this group, and I'll miss the seniors very much.
Um, just to look ahead one more time to the playoffs, I know because come Wednesday we will be halfway through the year, 9 weeks. 4.5 will be on Wednesday. Are you excited to get to the playoffs, or are you just taking it 1 week at a time, day by day?
The playoffs is definitely the long term goal, but yeah, we're looking by day, practice by practice, um, just trying to prepare for the next game. But yeah, definitely we earned our right to get in playoffs last year. Got kicked out of first round by Timberlane, but they're back in D1, and we're just hoping to make playoffs, but also take it one day at a time. Just focus on the goal ahead of us that weekend or that Friday night.
It was great talking to you. I really appreciate it. I look forward to talking to you again, and good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. So with my next guest here, we have Romy Janes, sophomore quarterback for Sohegan. Romy, you want to tell us a little bit about you guys' season so far this year?
Yeah, so we got a solid team this year, all around great players. It's been going well. Been rolling 4-0 right now, just trying to keep the momentum going.
So looking back, you guys' schedule so far, you guys have had lopsided affairs in every game. 60
Mhm.
to 6 over Hillsborough Deering, 41 to 14 over Milford. And a lot of people had thought Milford was going to be good this year, and you guys went out and just showed them that you guys are the most dominant team in Division Two so far. Manchester West 41 to 14 and Lebanon 61 to nothing. So if you were to go back and say one of those games, what one was the toughest opponent you guys have faced so far?
I think definitely Milford. I mean, they're still a great team, well coached. I think just the best thing we got a little lucky before half, got that fumble if you remember, and like that just we took that momentum to second half, and it just like it was game from there, and then yeah. But Milford was definitely our I feel like our best opponent so far.
So looking ahead at you guys' schedule, you guys have Plymouth this week, and they are a very well-rounded team this year. Hanover, who is also undefeated. Most likely, you
Mhm.
guys will both be undefeated going into that game. Hollis Brookline, who Pelham just put a beating on last week, and then you guys play Pelham after Hollis in Sauhegan. What game are you looking forward to the most? And then John Stark to end the year. But what game are you looking forward to the most out of your remaining five?
I mean, I'm not really looking for like any game that's like start on my calendar or anything, but like definitely just like looking forward to this Plymouth game first. Just trying to go 1-0 this week and beat like a really good Milford team this week.
So looking ahead to the Hanover and Pelham games, both of those teams are undefeated. Um, Most likely will both be undefeated by the time you guys play them. Um, have you watched any film on Hanover or Pelham to date yet, or no?
The only film I can say I watched on either of those teams was be like Pelham, and that's from them playing Manchester West that one week. But yeah, I'm not really focused on like any future film. I'm just focused on Plymouth film right now for this upcoming week.
Now, a lot of people are not aware of your star running back, JJ. You want to tell us a little bit about him? He's kind of flying under the radar at the moment.
Yeah, no, that guy, I would say he's probably top three running backs in the state right now. He's just been overlooked right now just from the big games we've had. We haven't been able to play like any really good competition yet to like even have to um start running the ball and like even get to that point. He hasn't got like the amount of carries we wanted him to be even have yet. So like, but he has like 50% touchdown rate and like yeah, he's a beast. Like he'll take any I'll give him like any little run and he'll take that to the crib. So it's like just once we can start feeding him more, he's people will start noticing him.
Not to give away you guys' offense at all, but are you guys more of a run dominant team or a pass dominant team?
Um, for like as much as I know, Sauhegan has always been a pass first offense. So yeah, we're definitely like um pass first, but like this year we just have such a good like all around team that we can run it whenever we want, we can pass it whenever we want. And so that's like it's like that's what makes it hard to beat us right now.
So looking ahead one more time to the playoffs and then we'll wrap it up. But going into the playoffs, there's probably four title favorites between you, Hanover, Pelham, and Guilford Belmont. Now Guilford Belmont is on the other side of the bracket, so you guys will not see them until the
Yeah.
championship if you can both make it there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you had to give more respect to one of the teams, would you give more respect to Pelham or Hanover?
Um, Definitely both, but like for sure Pelham since they came from D3 and they just been doing the same things that they were doing in D3 and just doing like undefeated. I know kids from there and they're a very good team, very well rounded.
Going into this week. Plymouth, they're a very well team. Hoping to pull out the dub, of course. At Plymouth, that's a pretty far ride from Amherst, if I had to say. How
Yeah.
is it to get on the bus and get out and play a 4-quarter football game?
Who'd you say against?
Plymouth this week.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We're just gonna have to be disciplined this whole week of practice, and like just get off the bus, as my coach would say. And that just means like ready for like right when we get off the bus, we're ready like to play a disciplined Plymouth team. But no, we don't mind traveling at all. It's awesome playing away sometimes.
So that is all from sophomore star quarterback Romy Jane. We look forward to hearing from you again, and good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That wraps up our first ever 603 football podcast. I look forward to doing more of these, and let me know what you guys think of these.